Hello. Today I'm going to be talking about some books that I bought in the past months for a book haul video. So I got about 7 books to talk about. First, talk about the books that I've already read. So I have The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I read this a couple months ago, maybe in April I think, and I really liked it, so I picked it up. This is a trilogy, so I have 2 more books to read in this series, which I would like to get to. I don't know when I'm going to get to them though, because I think there's like a long wait online for the second one anyway. The second one is called The Wicked King, and the third one is called The Queen of Nothing. And I'm really bad at getting the series, so who knows when I'll actually get there, but here's what it says. Sharpen your blade, harden your heart. Jude was 7 when her parents were murdered, and she and her 2 sisters were stolen away to live in the treacherous high court of Fairy. So it has like fairies in it. The fairy fantasy. 10 years later, Jude wants nothing more than belong there. But many of the Fae despise humans, especially Prince Carden, the youngest and wickedest son of the High King. To win a place at the court, Jude must defy him and face the consequences. The first book in a stunning trilogy, filled with twists and excitement, enchantment, but that too, as one girl learns the meaning of true power. Lush, dangerous, a dark jewel of a book. Magic. Has tree branches with a crown because that's royalty. And it has this little green bug here on the branch. I hope to get to the rest of this series soon. And then I got The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. I've read this about 2 times now, and each time I didn't really like it all that much, so I decided to get it so I could read it again on my own pace or whatever, and force myself to like it, because I just love this movie and the story and the musical and all that so much, so why didn't I like the book? If it's just written in a weird way, but I'm gonna try it again, and hopefully I can force myself to like it. So it says, in Paris, terror stalks the Opera Garnier. Stories of a terrifying ghost, that's not French, but you know, haunting the theatre, create panic amongst the musicians and audience. But the ghost is no supernatural phenomenon, but a living deformed man, Eric, who is hopelessly in love with a promising singer, the beautiful Christine Daae. I don't have no idea how to pronounce her last name. Daae. When her childhood friend Raoul begins courting her, Eric erupts in jealousy, and soon the ghost becomes violent and reckless. That's not French. Combining the atmospheric character of gothic horror with a tale of ill-fated romance, The Phantom of the Opera has been loved by readers worldwide since its first publication in 1925. That was all over the place, but you get the point. It has Christine on the front doing her singing, because that's what she does. Opera singer. And then the other book I read already was The Importance of Being Earnest and Other Plays by Oscar Wilde. This has this play, The Importance of Being Earnest, which I think is the best one that I've read. I like that one a lot. But it also has Lady Windermere's Fan and Ideal Husband, which were alright, but not as good as The Importance of Being Earnest. So it says, first performed in 1895, The Importance of Being Earnest is a play full of mix-ups, unexpected plot twists, mistaken identities, and extraordinary quickfire wit. That's my favorite part, is the extraordinary quickfire wit. It was Wilde's greatest work and represents the climax of his career. This collection also contains Lady Windermere's Fan and An Ideal Husband, 2 brilliant comedies offering devastating social commentary on Victorian manners and morals. In these 3 works, the wisdom, wit, and literary genius of the greatest conversationalist of his age are on full display. They have amused and entertained the audiences and readers for over a century. We have a hat and a luggage bag, suitcase bag thing, with the initials LB. Now moving on to the ones that I haven't read yet. I got Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. I tried to read this a couple years ago but couldn't get into it. But just recently I finished watching that TV show Anne with an E, which I'm obsessed with. So that made me want to read this even more. So I grabbed it so that I could read it at my own pace. And I mean, I was just going to get it from the library again, but who knows when I'm going to go back there. So it says, when Marilla Cuthbert and her brother Matthew decide to adopt a child from a distant orphanage, they don't get quite what they bargained for. The child who waits them at the tiny Bright River train station is not the strapping young boy they'd imagined, someone to help Matthew work the fields of their small farm, but rather a freckle-faced, red-headed waif named Anne, with an E, if you please. Matthew and Marilla may not be sure but Anne takes one look at Prince Edward Island's red clay roads and the Cuthbert's snug white farmhouse, with its distinctive green gables, and decides that she's home at last. Will she be able to convince Marilla and Matthew to let her stay? Armed with only a battered carpet bag and a boundless imagination, Anne charms her way into the Cuthberts' hearts, and into the hearts of readers as well. There's Anne there, she's standing on a hill there, and her red hair flowing in the wind. So super excited to start that. And then I got The African Queen by C.S. Forester. Has a boat there, and what's that, life raft thing? Trees. It says, in Central Africa at the start of World War I, German soldiers are surrounding up the indigenous people in the occupied territories. The indomitable Rose Sayer, a housekeeper at the local Christian mission, is determined to fight back. Enlisting the help of a hard-bitten skipper and drunk Charlie Allnut, she hitches a ride on his rickety steamboat, the African Queen. The vessel is packed with gelignite, destined for a Belgian mine, but Rose hits on another plan for it. Together, this odd couple set off downriver to do their part for the war, embarking on a thrilling and reckless adventure. So I really like this movie. It has Katharine Hepburn in it, and as Rose, and as Charlie, it's Humphrey Bogart. And I think that movie was really good, so hopefully the book is just as good. And then I got 2 more Jane Austen novels, because I want to read all of her 6 ones, or her 6 popular ones. She has other stuff too that she wrote when she wrote when she was a teenager, so I like to read those too. I grabbed Emma. Has a teacup on it. Says, Emma Woodhouse, handsome, clever and rich, had lived nearly 21 years in the world with very little to distress or vex her. This comedy of manners, published in 1816, features Emma as an avowed spinster and matchmaker who is convinced that she knows best who should marry whom. And despite Austen's own doubts, the charming and infuriating heroine is a favorite of many readers. Having almost ruined the prospects of Harriet Smith, her protégée, and been recommended by her good friend George Knightley, Emma finally learned a little humility. She also comes to some surprising conclusions about love and marriage. There's that one. And I also grabbed Mansfield Park. I actually started this one already, so I'm hopefully gonna finish it, next month or sometime. Or this month, depending on when this video goes up, I guess. I'm on chapter 8, but as you can see, there's plenty more to go. It says, everyone looks upon shy, selfie-facing Fanny Price as a poor relation among her 4 spoiled cousins at Mansfield Park. Adopted at a tender age by an uncle and aunt who have grown rich from a sugar plantation in distant Antigua, she finds herself morally at odds with them and their offspring. Her chief consolation is the kindness of the younger son, Edmund Bertram, whom she secretly loves. The arrival in the village of a city sophisticates, Henry and Mary Crawford, sparks a series of romantic entanglements which lead the Bertrams to the brink of social disaster, and Fanny to the indisputable conclusion that propriety and pretty manners are not substitutes for integrity. Those are the books I got recently. Those are going to be my summer books, even though we only have like basically, I don't know, like a month left of summer. Where does it go? I don't know. So, I hope to get to Mansfield Park, Emma, the African Queen, Gables. I don't think I'm going to reread The Importance of Being Earnest just yet, since it's fairly recent. But I am going to reread The Phantom of the Opera, because I want to love it. And then I'm not going to reread this one, because I just read this. But I do want to read the other books in the series, if I can find them. So those were our stack here. This is our stack of books I plan to read, and I will see you next time. They don't quite get what they, or they don't get quite what, yeah. They don't quite get what, they don't